The massive alien ship hung in the sky like a dark cloud over the Nevada desert. Its smooth, metallic surface reflected the morning sun, casting strange shadows on the military base below. Inside the base's command center, Admiral Tom Walker stared at the main screen, his weathered face showing no fear, only determination. "Sir, they're broadcasting again," reported Lieutenant Smith, her fingers moving quickly across the control panel. Same message as before. The alien message played through the speakers. "Primitive species of Earth, we represent the Galactic Council. Your planet has been chosen for evaluation. Resist and face destruction. Submit and receive our guidance." Walker almost smiled. In his 30 years of military service, he had never submitted to threats, alien or otherwise. "Send no response," he ordered, watching as more alien ships appeared through what looked like tears in space. "Let's see what they do next." The aliens didn't wait long. A smaller ship detached from the main vessel, descending toward the empty section of the desert where an old monitoring station stood. Walker had already evacuated all personnel from that location hours ago, following his gut instinct about the aliens' intentions. Through the base's advanced cameras, they watched the alien ship hover over the monitoring station. The bright beam of energy shot down, turning the small building into nothing but ash and melted metal in seconds. "Message received," muttered Walker, pressing a button on his command console. "Now here's our response." Unknown to the aliens, the monitoring station had been more than just a simple outpost. For the past 6 months, it had been collecting data on the alien ships that had been secretly observing Earth. Every transmission, every energy signature, every piece of technology, all analyzed and studied by Earth's best scientists. From hidden underground silos, Earth's new hybrid missiles launched into the sky. They combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered alien technology, something the Galactic Council had never expected from a primitive species. The alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against the physical impact of tungsten rods traveling at near-light speeds. The smaller alien ship exploded in a spectacular display of light and fire. Chaos erupted among the alien fleet. Their communications, which Earth had long since learned to decode, filled with confused and angry chatter. "Impossible. Their technology is too primitive for this. How did they penetrate our shields?" In the command center, Dr. Kate Miller rushed in with new data on her tablet. "Admiral, we're picking up massive energy buildups in their fleet. They're charging weapons." Walker nodded calmly. "Good. Let them come. Activate the planetary defense grid." Across the globe, hidden defense installations powered up. For years, Earth's nations had worked in secret, preparing for this very moment. The threat of alien invasion had united humanity like never before. The alien commander's voice boomed through the communication systems again, this time with less certainty. "Your resistance is noted. Humans, you have proven more capable than expected. However, you faced the might of the entire Galactic Council. Surrender now, and we may show mercy." Walker stepped forward, finally deciding to respond. His voice was steady and clear as he spoke into the communication system. "This is Admiral Walker of the Earth Defense Force. We've been watching you for months. We've studied your technology, your tactics, and your weaknesses. Here's our counteroffer. Leave now, or learn why no one messes with humans." The alien ships held their position, probably debating their next move. They had expected an easy submission from a primitive race. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had turned their own technology against them. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, both sides prepared for what would become the first battle in a war that would change the galaxy forever. The humans didn't know if they would win, but they knew one thing for certain: they would never submit. The real lesson about humanity was about to begin. 3 days after the first battle, the alien fleet maintained their position in Earth's orbit. Inside their command ship, High Counselor Vex could not believe the reports appearing on his screen. His purple skin had turned a pale shade of blue, a sign of extreme stress among his species. "Impossible," he muttered, reading the data again. "They've been monitoring our secure channels for months." His second-in-command, Officer Trell, displayed more disturbing information on the main screen. "That's not all, sir. Look at these scans of their weapons." The images showed detailed analysis of Earth's defense systems. What they found shocked them. Their own technology, modified and improved in ways they had never considered. The humans hadn't just copied their designs. They had made them better. Meanwhile, in a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Kate Miller presented her latest findings to Admiral Walker and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The room was filled with military leaders from around the world, all united in Earth's defense. "The aliens use quantum communications," Dr. Miller explained, pointing to a complex diagram. "They thought it was unbreakable. But we found a way to not just listen in, but understand their entire language in weeks. Their overconfidence made them sloppy." Admiral Walker stood up, his face showing a hint of pride. "Show them what else we learned." Dr. Miller pressed a button, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed the complete internal layout of the alien ships, every weakness marked in red. "They never thought we could scan their ships so thoroughly," she continued. "They still think we're using primitive radio waves for communication. Meanwhile, we've mapped their entire fleet using their own technology." Back on the alien command ship, the situation was getting worse. Officer Trell rushed into Vex's chamber with more disturbing news. "Sir, we've accessed their information networks," Trell reported nervously. "We found their war history. These humans, they've been fighting each other for thousands of years. They've developed warfare in ways we never imagined." Vex watched recordings of human battles throughout history. Unlike the organized, protocol-driven warfare of the Galactic Council, humans fought with creativity, determination, and sometimes sheer stubbornness. How do they keep fighting even when defeat seems certain? Vex wondered aloud, watching footage of ancient battles where outnumbered armies still fought to the last person. On Earth, humanity prepared their next move. In factories worldwide, workers produced new weapons that combined human innovation with alien technology. Scientists worked around the clock, finding new ways to improve alien designs. Dr. Miller made another breakthrough. "Admiral, we found a way to use their shield technology differently," she announced, her eyes bright with excitement. "They only use it as a barrier, but we've modified it to reflect energy weapons back at the attackers." Walker smiled. "They expect us to cower in fear, Doctor. Instead, we're going to show them why that was their biggest mistake." In orbit, the alien fleet detected strange energy readings from Earth. Their sensors couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. The humans were doing things with technology that violated the Council's understanding of physics. "Sir," Trell reported to Vex, his voice shaking, "the humans are broadcasting a message to our fleet." On their main screen, Admiral Walker's face appeared. His message was simple, but carried the weight of humanity's determination. "To the Galactic Council forces, we've studied your strengths, and more importantly, your weaknesses. You thought we were primitive because we don't have your level of technology. But we have something better. We have the will to never give up, the creativity to solve impossible problems, and the strength to fight until the end. You have 1 hour to retreat, or we'll show you exactly what humans are capable of when threatened." Vex looked out at Earth through his ship's window. For the first time in his long life, he felt something he had never experienced before: fear of a lesser species. The real demonstration of human capability was about to begin. The alien fleet launched their attack exactly as their military handbook dictated. 500 ships moved into perfect attack formation, their weapons charged and ready. High Counselor Vex watched with satisfaction. This was how proper warfare should be conducted: organized, precise, and overwhelming. Then everything went wrong. Captain Jack Stone sat in his small stealth ship, hidden in the shadow of an old communications satellite. His vessel, barely larger than a fighter jet, was covered in panels that copied the alien cloaking technology, but the humans had improved it. All teams in position, he whispered into his comm unit. Remember, folks, we're not fighting their way. We're fighting our way. Across Earth's orbit, 30 similar ships waited in the shadows. Each carried what the aliens would consider a primitive weapon, if they could detect it at all. Now, ordered Admiral Walker from his command center. Stone's team sprang into action. Their ships darted between the alien vessels like wasps attacking a much larger animal. They dropped simple metal balls in their wake, balls filled with millions of tiny metal pieces. What are they doing? Vex demanded, watching the small human ships zip through his fleet. Their weapons aren't even activated. Then the balls exploded. In space, millions of tiny metal fragments spread out, moving at incredible speeds. The alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, did nothing against the physical fragments. Hundreds of small holes appeared in their ships' hulls. Impossible. Vex shouted as warning alarms blared throughout his fleet. They're using primitive projectile weapons in space. But the humans weren't done. Dr. Miller's voice came through on Stone's comm. Phase 2, Captain. Show them our other surprise. Stone grinned. His ship carried another weapon the aliens never expected. Electromagnetic pulse generators, modified using their own power technology. When activated, they didn't just disable electronic systems like old human EMPs. They turned the aliens' own shield energy against them. Alien ships began to lose power. Their perfect formation broke apart as they tried to avoid both the metal cloud and the EMP effects. It was like watching a highly trained army suddenly forced to fight in complete darkness. This isn't proper combat. Vex raged as his fleet scattered. They're supposed to engage us directly. In the command center, Admiral Walker watched the chaos with a grim smile. Send in the main force. Earth's larger warships emerged from behind the moon, their weapons already firing. Unlike the aliens' energy weapons, these ships used a combination of technologies. Some fired concentrated beams of particles that passed right through the alien shields. Others launched what looked like old-fashioned torpedoes, but carried warheads that created miniature black holes, lasting just long enough to tear chunks out of enemy ships. Sir, Officer Trull reported to Vex, his voice shaking, we've lost a third of the fleet. Their weapons, they're not following any known rules of engagement. Stone's team continued their hit-and-run attacks, striking from unexpected angles, using debris as cover, fighting in ways that made no sense to the aliens' tactical computers. You see, Walker said over an open channel to the alien fleet, while you were perfecting one way of fighting, we were learning thousands. Every war in our history taught us something new. You might have better technology, but we know how to use it in ways you never imagined. The alien fleet retreated, pulling back to a safer distance. They had lost more ships in this one battle than in their last 10 campaigns combined. In his command ship, Vex stared at the battle records, trying to understand what had happened. How? He wondered aloud. How did they defeat our superior technology with such primitive tactics? The answer came from Trell, who had been studying human history. Sir, I think that's exactly why they won. We expected them to fight like us. Instead, they fought like humans. On Earth, celebrations began, but Admiral Walker and his team were already preparing for the next battle. They knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn why humans always had a reputation for being the most dangerous when they seemed outmatched. News of the human victory spread through the galaxy like a wildfire. On the peaceful trading world of Centauri Prime, alien merchants watched battle footage with growing amazement. The mighty Galactic Council fleet, defeated by what they had called a primitive species. In the Council's main chamber, representatives from 50 alien species argued about the human problem. Their voices echoed off the crystal walls as they watched recordings of the battle. They turned our own shield technology into a weapon, shouted one delegate. Did you see how they used gravity itself as a weapon? Asked another, their tentacles waving in excitement. We never thought to use black holes in combat. Meanwhile, Earth prepared for its first major offensive. In the lunar shipyards, hidden from alien sensors, Dr. Miller presented her latest creation to Admiral Walker and Captain Stone. "We call it the Ghost Fleet," she said, pointing to ships that looked nothing like traditional vessels. "They're built using the Council's own quantum technology, but we're using it differently. These ships can partially exist in multiple dimensions at once." Walker raised an eyebrow. "In simple terms, Doctor, they can't hit what they can't predict." Stone answered, understanding immediately. "Our ships will appear to be in one place, but actually be in another." The aliens were about to learn another harsh lesson about human innovation. Within their secure bases, several Council species had already begun secret discussions about changing sides. "The humans have achieved in months what we couldn't in centuries," said the ambassador from a species known for their logical thinking. "Perhaps it's time to consider a different approach." High Counselor Vex received the reports with growing dread. His own people were beginning to question the wisdom of fighting humans. The battle footage kept showing impossible things. Human ships appearing out of nowhere, weapons that shouldn't work somehow working perfectly, and tactics that made no sense until it was too late. "They're breaking all the rules of warfare," Vex complained to his advisors. "Sir," Officer Trell replied carefully, "I don't think they care about our rules." Earth launched its counterattack on a quiet Tuesday morning. The Ghost Fleet slipped through the alien defenses like they weren't even there. One moment, the Council's border stations detected nothing. The next, human ships were everywhere and nowhere at once. In his command ship, Captain Stone watched his tactical display with pride. "Begin Operation Checkmate," he ordered. The human ships executed maneuvers that the alien tactical computers insisted were impossible. They appeared to split into multiple copies, each one seemingly real until the last second. The aliens couldn't tell which ships were real and which were quantum shadows. "How are we supposed to fight an enemy we can't even locate properly?" an alien commander shouted as another defense station fell. Dr. Miller's voice came through on the Earth Command channel. "Admiral, the quantum field is stable. They're still trying to track our ships using their standard methods. They haven't realized we're not just using their technology. We're rewriting the rules of how it works." Walker nodded. "Send in the second wave." The second wave of Earth ships carried something even more surprising. They had found a way to temporarily alter the local laws of physics. Alien weapons simply stopped working in areas where human ships deployed their new quantum field generators. "This is impossible," Vex shouted as reports of defeats flooded in. "They're changing how reality works." "No, sir," Trell corrected him. "They're just understanding it better than we do. They're not bound by our assumptions about what's possible." The battle ended in another human victory. But more importantly, it sent a message to the galaxy. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were revolutionizing warfare itself. In the council chambers, more voices began calling for peace talks. The humans had proved themselves not just capable of fighting, but of changing the very nature of combat. The galaxy was beginning to learn that underestimating humans wasn't just a mistake. It was potentially fatal to their way of life. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never seen such chaos. Representatives from hundreds of worlds shouted over each other as emergency alarms flashed across the massive screens. Another council fleet had just been defeated by human forces. High Counselor Vex stood at the central podium, his purple skin now almost white with stress. "Order. We must have order." But there was no order to be found. On the main screen, footage showed human ships using technology in ways that defied the Council's understanding of physics. They had taken the Council's quantum technology and turned it into something new and terrifying. "The humans have breached the Arcturus defense line," one delegate announced, causing more panic. "Impossible," another shouted back. "That line has held for 10,000 years." Officer Trell rushed into the chamber with more disturbing news. "Sir, we've detected unauthorized communications between several Council worlds and Earth." Vex's eyes widened. Traitors. In the council. Not traitors, sir, Trell corrected carefully. They're calling themselves practical thinkers. They believe fighting humans is a mistake we cannot afford to continue. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Walker met with representatives from 15 alien worlds in a secret underground base. These aliens had broken away from the Council, impressed by humanity's innovations and determined not to be on the losing side. "Your species has done the impossible," said the alien ambassador, their crystalline body shimmering with respect. "You've made the Council question everything they believed about warfare and technology." Dr. Miller presented their latest breakthrough to the gathered allies. "We found a way to create stable wormholes without the massive energy requirements the Council uses. We can now strike anywhere in Council space within minutes." In the Council chambers, the crisis deepened. More reports of defections came in every hour. Worlds that had been part of the Council for millennia were now seeking alliances with Earth. "Do you know what the humans told our diplomats?" One delegate asked the silent chamber. "They said we could keep all our technology, all our knowledge. They don't want to conquer us. They want to trade ideas. They think we can all learn from each other." This concept shocked many Council members. The idea of treating lesser species as equals went against thousands of years of tradition. Captain Stone led the next major offensive, demonstrating humanity's new wormhole technology. His fleet appeared simultaneously at 20 different Council strongholds. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the Council ships are in complete disarray. They can't understand how we're attacking from multiple locations at once." Stone smiled. "Send the message." Across Council space, human ships broadcasted the same words. "We don't want to destroy you. We want to work with you. Your choice." In the Council chamber, Vex watched his empire crumbling. More screens showed human ships appearing in impossible places, using impossible weapons, achieving impossible victories. "How?" he whispered. "How did they advance so quickly?" Trell, who had spent months studying human history, answered, "Because we threatened them. Sir, humans show their true potential when faced with a challenge. We didn't just wake a sleeping giant. We gave it a reason to evolve faster than any species in galactic history." The final blow to the Council's unity came when the humans demonstrated their newest technology, a defense system that could predict and counter any attack before it happened. They had taken the Council's basic prediction algorithms and turned them into something that bordered on time manipulation. "We must vote," shouted a senior delegate. "Continue this war, or admit we were wrong about humans." As the Council descended into heated debate, Earth's influence grew stronger. More alien worlds sought human alliance every day, eager to learn their ways of thinking, their ability to innovate, their gift for seeing beyond established limits. The galaxy was changing, and at its center stood humanity, not as conquerors, but as revolutionaries who had shattered the chains of conventional thinking. In the war room beneath Mount Rushmore, Admiral Walker studied the galactic map with Earth's top commanders. Hundreds of green dots showed their allied worlds, while red dots marked the shrinking territory of the Council loyalists. "They still don't understand us," Walker said, pointing to the latest battle reports. "Even after all this time." Dr. Miller nodded, bringing up footage from their latest victory. "They keep expecting us to follow their rules. Watch this." The screen showed a recent battle where human ships had used what they called the soccer strategy, pretending to retreat, then suddenly turning to attack when the enemy overextended themselves. It was a simple sports tactic adapted for space warfare. "Sir," a young lieutenant called out, "we're receiving a transmission from High Counselor Vex. He's asking why we fight the way we do." Walker smiled. "Put him through. It's time they learned about humanity." Vex's image appeared on the main screen, his once proud posture now showing signs of defeat. "Admiral Walker, explain something to me. Your species was primitive just months ago. How did you advance so quickly? How do you keep surprising us?" Walker stood up, facing the alien leader. Because that's what humans do best. We adapt. We improvise. We overcome. Every human culture has stories of beating impossible odds. It's not just what we do, it's who we are. He waved his hand, and the screen split to show scenes from Earth's history. Ancient armies winning against superior forces, scientists making breakthroughs with limited resources, ordinary people achieving extraordinary things. Look at our history, Walker continued. When we can't go through an obstacle, we go around it. When we can't go around it, we go over it. When all else fails, we change the rules of the game itself. In another part of the world, Captain Stone was demonstrating this principle to a group of alien allies. His team was teaching them how to use their own technology in new ways. You've had quantum drives for thousands of years, Stone explained, showing them a modified engine. But you never thought to use them this way because your rulebook said it wouldn't work. Humans, we don't care what the rulebook says. We care about what actually works. The aliens watched in amazement as the modified drive performed functions their scientists had deemed impossible. One of them, a being of pure energy, flickered with excitement. "This is why we joined your side," the energy being said. "You show us new possibilities." Meanwhile, Dr. Miller was hosting a different kind of meeting. She sat with scientists from 20 alien worlds, all sharing ideas freely. On the table between them lay pieces of technology from a dozen different cultures, all being combined in new ways. "Humans have a saying," she told them. "Necessity is the mother of invention. When the council threatened us, they created a necessity, so we invented solutions." Back in the council chambers, Vex watched recordings of these meetings with growing understanding. Officer Trell stood beside him, providing commentary. "See, sir," Trell said, "they're not just fighting us. They're changing how the entire galaxy thinks. Every world that joins them becomes more innovative, more adaptable." Vex nodded slowly. "They're teaching others to think like humans." "Exactly," Trell replied. "And that's why we can't win. We fight by the book. They'd write new books. We follow rules. They'd break rules and make better ones." The truth was spreading across the galaxy. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their perspective, their ability to look at problems differently, to find solutions where others saw only obstacles. As Walker finished his conversation with Vex, he shared one final thought. "You thought we were primitive because we didn't have your technology. But we had something better. We had imagination, creativity, and the will to use them. That's the human perspective." The galaxy was learning that technology alone doesn't determine advancement. Sometimes, the ability to think differently is the greatest power of all. 1 year after the first alien ship appeared over Earth, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council looked very different. Where once only the oldest spacefaring races had seats, now humans sat among them. Admiral Walker stood at the central podium, addressing representatives from over 1,000 worlds. "The war is over," he announced, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Today we begin a new chapter in galactic history." High Counselor Vex, now serving as a regular council member rather than its leader, watched from his seat. His once bright purple skin had gained patches of gray, a sign of wisdom among his people. "The humans have changed everything," he whispered to Officer Trell. "In just 1 year, they've reshaped the galaxy more than we did in 1,000. On the massive screens above, images showed the changes happening across the galaxy. Human innovations had spread everywhere. Ships using their modified quantum drives zipped between stars in hours instead of weeks. Their new medical techniques healed injuries that were once fatal. Dr. Miller stood up next, presenting the latest breakthrough to the gathered species. "We've learned as much from you as you've learned from us," she said. "This is what humans do best. We take ideas, combine them in new ways, and share what we discover." In Earth's orbit, Captain Stone commanded the first joint human-alien training mission. Ships from 50 different worlds practiced together, sharing their unique perspectives and abilities. "Remember, Stone told the gathered fleet, "There's no one right way to solve a problem. That's the lesson humanity taught the galaxy." Back in the council chamber, a young alien student asked the question everyone was thinking. But how did they do it? How did one planet change the galaxy so quickly? Vex stood up to answer. 1 year ago, he would never have imagined himself praising humans. Now he understood. "They showed us our greatest weakness," he explained. "We have become trapped by our own rules, our own traditions. We thought we knew everything. The humans proved that there's always more to learn, always a different way to look at things." Walker nodded, adding, "And that's why the first rule of the new Galactic Council is simple. Don't mess with humans, not because we're dangerous, but because we'll make you think differently whether you want to or not." The chamber erupted in laughter, another human concept that many species had come to appreciate. Across the galaxy, this story was already becoming legend. In schools on 1,000 worlds, young aliens learned about the species that changed everything. They learned how humans took the Council's advanced technology and found new ways to use it, how they turned simple ideas into powerful tools, how they taught the galaxy to think creatively. Dr. Miller's team had spread across the stars, teaching and learning. Every day they found new combinations of human ingenuity and alien technology. Problems that had puzzled the Council for centuries were being solved by combining different perspectives. "The humans have given us a great gift," one alien elder told their students. "They taught us that being advanced isn't about having the best technology, it's about having the best ideas." In the final moments of the ceremony, Admiral Walker and High Counselor Vex stood together, watching ships from hundreds of worlds flying in formation above the Council world. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Vex asked. Walker smiled. "Actually, this isn't an ending. It's a beginning. Humans don't believe in endpoints. We always want to know what's next, what's possible, what else we can learn." As the new council members departed to their worlds, they carried with them not just human technology, but human ways of thinking. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Never underestimate a species that sees problems as opportunities and obstacles as challenges. And somewhere, on a distant world, a young alien asked their parent, "Why is rule number 1, don't mess with humans?" The parent smiled and began to tell the story of how one primitive species taught the galaxy that the greatest power isn't technology. It's the ability to imagine new possibilities.